Welcome back to more Rune Factory 2. I got muted in Gloomhaven server because I play impossibly fast. How are you doing there, Zara?
Oh, I'm having fun.
Cool. Yeah, I wound up making the claim that for playing Gloom... I thought the music totally glitched out there for a moment. I mean, it kind of did. Anyway, for Gloomhaven, I had made the... not the assumption. I had made the claim that when I first started playing Gloomhaven, I played about 10 scenarios a day. Apparently, that's way too flippin' bloody fast unless I never ever sleep. So 10 scenarios in about 16 hours, impossible. 10 scenarios in 24 hours, reasonable. I ran the numbers for some of the claims that had been made by the person who had decided, instead of trying to, talk about the situation, that'd be better to just, mute me for an hour. Yeah, according to him, even when playing Gloomhaven on a speed run, trying to play it as fast as possible, strictly speaking, the physical edition, not Tabletop Sim, not the Steam version, but the physical version of the game, for one scenario, it takes about 2 hours bare minimum. That's what he claimed. 2 hours bare minimum, so it'd take 20 hours to do 10 scenarios, according to him. I disagree with that.
I don't know. I mean, I've seen how you play games.
Are you saying that you would agree that I'd play them fast, or are you saying that I would spend so much time trying to choose the right outfit for a character I never actually play it?
Both.
So I'm tempted to do a 16 or so hour Gloomhaven stream, set up the camera, clear off the table, get Gloomhaven all set up there, prep some, starting level 1 characters to start everything off with, and just do an entire stream and see how many scenarios I can get through. Playing the physical version of Gloomhaven solo. Heck, solo 4-player, I'll do that even. And I mean, in all fairness, some people might argue that it's like, oh, of course the early game is easy. You don't have that many items to keep track of, that many abilities. Enemies are pretty simple, blah, blah, blah. Like, sure, early game would be easy because of all that. But late game, if you really want to push it, a late game scenario can also be done stupid fast if you wanted to. So, yeah. You know how... Yeah, it's like one of those streamer 24-hour streams, except this would only be like 16 hours.
I mean, honestly, if you wanted to, I would say go and try to do that.
I am tempted to, but I mean, the person who's claiming that it's impossible, so much so to the point of, I don't care if it's possible, they're just wrong. I think I sent you that screenshot of the person saying that. I don't care if it's possible, they're just a even liar. So it's like, even if I do it and prove to them, it's like, hey, here's me doing 10 scenarios in Gloomhaven in 16 hours. They're just going to say, oh, well, you cheated because reasons. Oh, you didn't, completely pack away everything in the box after every scenario. It's like, no, I didn't make the claim that I did. And someone had said, like, as one of the only people who have ever played Frosthaven solo three-handed, I know that everything you're saying is a lie. How do you flippin' know how many people have played through Frosthaven solo three-handed? I've played through most of Frosthaven solo four-handed. What are they saying that, oh, well, everyone doing Frosthaven solo would only do two-hands, but I did three. It's like, I go in with four because I want more characters to do more stuff with.
Yeah.
And someone is making the claim that for a Frosthaven scenario, set up for the mission, doing the mission, tear down of the mission, the road event to the mission, don't forget about that, the time passes phase, and the outpost phase, and doing everything in the outpost, takes anywhere from 4.5 to 6 hours. Whereas someone else had claimed that they were able to do all that in about 1.5 to 2 hours. I don't know how long it often took me. I feel like you would be a bad judge of that. Because with Frosthaven specifically, I was also writing a story of the plot of the Frosthaven game while I was playing it. So I felt like it took me twice as long as it should have, because basically every step of the way I had to stop and write. More than twice as long as it should have. And I don't think it took me 6 hours. I don't know, though. Maybe for some of the specific story parts where I wrote a heckin' lot of extra plot. Like the part where Yumi goes around and befriends every member of the team so then she can get added to the team. One of the people arguing against me also said, oh, and retirement takes super stupid bloody long as well. And it's like, I didn't retire any of my characters for the longest time because none of them got their retirement goals. Let's see if I remember what my original retirement goals were. I know one of them was watch 2 other people retire, so they couldn't get it done first. Someone else was... Why can I never remember things? Someone else's was go to this specific scenario, get this specific weapon, then kill like 5 undeads with it. So it's like, well, I can't retire them until I get to that scenario, get that weapon, and then play 1, maybe 2 scenarios that actually have undead. And it's not just hit 5 undead, you actually have to land the killing blow with a weapon that taps when you use it. So I had to find that scenario, get the axe, and then... So it's like, I could... It's like, you... And I don't remember what the other 2 were. I think one was like, kill like X amount of this creature, but none of the starting scenarios has any of that creature, so I had to... Oh yeah, and I think the last one was like complete like 10 side scenarios. When I started off with 0.
Morning.
So none of them were going to retire anytime soon. Meanwhile, in Frosthaven, one of the retirement goals that you can get is get 5 different herbs. Which is something that you can totally get. I don't think you can get it in 1 scenario, but if you find the right 2 scenarios, I think you can get it in 2. Uh-oh, tomorrow's gonna be rainy. Yeah, only 100 Gs, she says. See, her being able to change the weather like that is just flat out magic, isn't it? For anyone who doubted it, she really does have real magic. Alright. Now to go and talk to everyone in town. Yeah, so I reported that person to the other owner of the server and sent some screenshots of the stuff that they were saying, so I don't know what's going to happen with that. I might get banned from that server. I don't really care. I really would rather not be in a server with one of the owners of the server saying stuff like, I don't care if they were telling the truth. I think they were lying.
Yeah.
Like, that's some, like, parental type stuff. Or, like, that's the thing that, like, parents and teachers say about, like, 5-year-olds. I don't care who started the fight. I'm here to end it. You ever get that as a kid? Someone punches you in the face, you get mad at them, and the teacher says, I don't care who started the fight. I am going to end it. Now both of you are in trouble. Or, actually more often, now you're in trouble because you're the one complaining about it. You shouldn't complain. You shouldn't be yelling. Yelling is bad. You shouldn't be yelling about things in the classroom. Yelling is bad, so you're in trouble now. It's like, but they punched me. Well, I didn't see it happen, so I think you're lying? I have a bruise on my face the size and shape of their fist. Yeah, well, I think you punched yourself in the face to try to blame them. Okay, that part's a lie. They wouldn't say that. They would say, no, you don't. Now go to the principal's office, or whatever. You have detention. Although, actually, now that I think about it, for all that I got in trouble at school for whatever nonsense, I don't think I actually had, like, after-school, like, detention.
No?
I had some in-school suspensions, but that was during school time.
Huh.
Trying to think about it, the only times I really stayed at school after school were either when an event was going on, when I had a class after school. I think that was it. There might have been some times when I was younger when it was all like, oh hey, after school I'm going to be late coming to pick you up, but I think I mostly just took the bus, so I don't think I ever actually had after school detention. I could be completely wrong. I don't know. Whatever. But yeah. I've said it before, and I'll probably wind up saying it again. I am definitely the sort of person who gets addicted to things. Like, when I first started playing Gloomhaven, I did about 10 scenarios a day.
Nice callback.
Thanks, I try. Yeah, but that's the main reason I don't want to ever try alcohol, because I have a very strong feeling that if I do try it, I'll get addicted to it. Or, painkillers. What's that specific, like, painkiller that people tend to get addicted to? The thing Dr. House is addicted to.
Oh shit, what is it that he's addicted to?
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, I don't specifically...
Yeah. But there's, like, a certain type of painkiller that people tend to get addicted to, and I was actually prescribed some... I think I was prescribed it twice. Once when I had my, gallstone issue, I was prescribed it, I had to buy it, it's like $80 for a little bottle of pills. I didn't have any of them. The pain, after the point where I had first gone to the hospital for it, over the course of the next week while I was being treated, the pain was never that bad, so I never took any of them. And once again, after I had my surgery last year, and I think I wound up taking 2 of the pills. And, like, if I'm given painkillers and flat out told to take them by a medical professional, I'll take them. But if I'm told... But it's like, if I'm given the, you know, whatever name of painkiller that people tend to get super addicted to, until it's like, okay, take these if the pain becomes really bad. I will very likely never take them. I have taken them in the past. Did not get addicted. I think I took one when I was basically spending the day going from airport to try to fly back home. Because that was just a really pain-filled day. Because it's like, okay, I'm here to spend 3 hours in the hospital. I can't lie down anywhere in the hospital. If I sit down, there is a lot of pain. Like, I can't accurately describe the amount of pain that I was in every time I sat down. But whenever I sat down, there was quite a bit of pain. So it's like, okay, standing is uncomfortable. Sitting is painful. I have to wait 3 hours for the plane. And then the plane comes in, and I have to sit there on a plane for many hours, flying across the country. At least I had like one of those like donut cushions that helped, but wasn't really great. It deflated after a while anyway. So it's like, nah. And then I get to the second airport, and I basically had to walk across the entire airport to get from the one gate to the other. Although, at least in that airport, I found some, like, lounge chairs, and I was able to lie down for a couple hours. So that was nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Also, I had to take care of a little bloody issue at one point there, and that was not a pleasant sight to see, but, I mean... Oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's how it felt. Alright, I can just go on in, but...
Hi. Afternoon.
Alright, not open yet. Have to wait. But it's nice that you can go into people's places out of hours if they like you enough. Very nice little feature.
Nice.
But yeah, I think I took a painkiller on that day, and I don't remember the other day that I did. It might have been on the day of the Chandra blood incident, but I don't know for sure.
The Chandra blood incident.
Yes! I don't know how much of it I feel comfortable with saying on this recording specifically, but suffice it to say, there was blood coming out, but there really shouldn't have been blood, and I might have had to go to the hospital. Let's just say that. Let's just... Is Discord, like, not picking me up most of the time? Because I noticed my light isn't coming on.
Wow.
Hi.
Wow.
Did you hear what I said after the story, or was I completely cut out?
I think you got cut off.
Okay, because I was asking if I was getting cut off, because I have Discord open with, like, OBS over about half of it, and I noticed my green light wasn't coming on. But yeah, there was some blood, there was some ice packs, and a cloth that got some blood on it. It got washed, it's fine. Got washed and bleached. But yeah, whatever. Anyway, might have been on that point, I don't know. But like I said, all this comes back to I tend to get addicted to things. And sometimes, actually, I find most of the time, it's actually remarkably easy for me to stop being addicted to the thing. If I want to stop, I can stop.
I mean, that's what most people who get addicted to things say.
People have said, and I don't know how accurate this is, that addiction to soda is, like, one of the stronger addictions out there. Not, like, super strong, like nicotine, but a pretty strong addiction. I was able to just cut that completely. I used to drink, like a lot of soda. Like, regularly. Like, I'd get, like, one of those, was it 2-liter bottles, just sitting by my bed while I'm just sitting there playing games and just glug, 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 glug. Whatever. And I was like, you know what? Starting on the 1st of this month, so starting today, no more soda. Period. And since then, other than some side cases that you may or may not argue about, like, oh, does Slurpees have soda or whatever, or does this have whatever, other than arguable cases, there have only been 2 instances where I have willingly and intentionally drank soda. Both of those times were in that first month, and because I was choking on something and the soda was the only thing to drink nearby. Like, I think, like, both times we were having, like, rice for dinner. For some reason, there's, like, no water or milk anywhere around, but there's, like, an open can of, like, Coke or something. And I was choking, and it's like, well, get a drink, wash it down, everything good. And on both of those instances, the soda tasted absolutely disgusting. Someone else was drinking it, and they said it was completely fine, but to me, it tasted so bad. It's like, yeah, I guess that's how soda tastes if you're not used to it. And I want you to guess. No way, it doesn't quite work out so well, whatever. Funnily enough, I'll just say, the month that I, started the whole not drinking soda anymore thing, April 1st, I decided, you know what, I'll stop drinking soda. I was told by, like, my social studies teacher that they often did that as, like, an experiment with, like, high schoolers, and, like, within a month, they've, skin has cleared up tremendously, they've dropped, like, 30 pounds in a month, like, they have, like, a lot more energy, everything is so much better. None of those things happened to me. So I was kind of cheesed off, and if it hadn't been for the fact that I had tasted soda twice in that month and found it to be disgusting, I probably would have gone back to drinking soda. But it's like, I dropped it because my social teacher said that there are so many health benefits to, like, not drinking it anymore. I didn't get a single one of those. But I stopped drinking it anyway because I completely cut the addiction. And, like, I don't know if it really counts as an addiction for playing specific games rather than just games in general.
Hey there.
This is going to get watered in a few hours. Maybe I should have saved a bit of energy. Actually, you know what I do have? What is it? I have this. This is fine. Oh, right. So, whatever. I play games differently from other people. This much has been established over and over and over and over and over again.
Yes.
And I have an absurd luck stat as well. But that's a bit of a side tangent to the actual goings-on of the story. So yeah. I think I've told you this story before, but you're familiar with... Yeah, you're familiar with, like, some concepts of Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yes.
So you're familiar with, like, Exodia?
Yes.
Yeah. For those, of course, still in the dark about it, Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game got pretty popular, still is pretty popular. Exodia, 5 pieces of, 5 separate cards. You can only have 1 of each of the 5 pieces in your deck. If you ever have all 5 separate cards in your hand at the same time, you immediately win the duel. And the Yu-Gi-Oh! Minimum deck size is 40 cards, 40. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Before I got into Magic, I played Yu-Gi-Oh! My cousin got me into it when I was young, whatever. I had an Exodia deck. I had built a new deck, and I wanted to test it just to see how well it performed. So I decided to play it against another one of my decks, just to, see how it did. And I played against the Exodia deck, figuring that's a pretty easy one to, just test it against. It's mostly normal monsters. Whatever, this should be an easy test to see how it goes. Shuffle up both decks, shuffle them, cut them, practically rifle shuffle them, except not really, because whatever. Seriously shuffle them and give them a nice cut. The one deck's like, okay, this is a fine opening hand, which is good, because in Yu-Gi-Oh! You're not allowed to mulligan. You have to take the 5 cards that you get. 5 cards. The Exodia deck, you want to take a wild flippin' guess what the 5 cards were?
What?
Just take a wild bloody guess what 5 cards I had in my opening hand in the Exodia deck.
Let me guess. The 5 pieces of Exodia.
Yes! So it's like, well, I guess that deck wins game 1. Let's go to game 2 of the match. And so I made sure to take the 5 separate pieces and, like, separate them in the deck so they weren't all clumped up together. So separate them all far apart from each other in the deck, then I shuffle the deck and make sure to really give it a good randomization, a really good, strong, solid shuffle. I deal the hands for game 2, I'm like, alright, let's do this. Hey, you want to take a wild flippin' guess what the opening cards of the Exodia deck were in game 2?
No. Again?
Yes. So once again, I took the cards like, okay, fine, that wins. I want to test out this other deck. Again, I take the Exodia cards, I make sure to really, separate them from the other cards. Like, from the other piece of Exodia. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle like crazy, okay? Boom, boom, boom. I think I might have actually tried to rifle shuffle that 3rd time, just to really randomize the cards, give it a nice cut. Hey, Azura!
No.
You want to guess what the opening cards of the Exodia deck were in game 3?
No.
Take a wild guess! Take a wild flippin' guess!
Exodia.
Yes! 3 games in a row! Opening hand Exodia. I believe the odds of opening hand Exodia with the 40 card deck is, I think it was 1 in 460,000. I know you can Google it now. Back then you couldn't, but I think it's about 1 in 460,000. So I believe I calculated the odds to approximately 1 in like 1 trillion billion or something stupid like that. Like, it was literally more likely for me to grab 2 lottery tickets at random and win the lottery twice. It would have been more likely.
Jesus.
Of course, however, I have literally no proof that this happened. I wasn't recording it, like, I have no actual evidence that this had happened. All I have is my own word. So if I try to tell anyone that that happened, if they choose to not believe me, I have nothing that I can say about that. I cannot prove it. So there is no point for me to argue to someone that it happened, because, frankly, the odds of it happening are stupid flippin' unlikely.
To the point where if you hadn't been there and experienced it yourself, you wouldn't believe it either.
Yeah, honestly, if someone had told me that they had done that, I would think, oh, so you were cheating. Like, if I had done that in an actual official tournament, and, like, even just 2 Nat Exodias in a row, the first one, they would have called the judge, and the judge would be like, no, that's too unlikely. You have to reshuffle, and I'll give you a game loss because obviously you were cheating. Have the judge stay there then, shuffle the deck, everything's shuffled. It's like, okay, this is good. I didn't touch it. This is good. Okay, look, just drawing my 5 cards. Okay? Okay. Exodia. Then go to game 3, get it to happen again. Have, like, all the judges around checking the deck to see what happened. Just like, okay, well, you have to be cheating. But no, just at home while I was trying to test a different deck that I never actually got around to checking out, because I took that as a sign of, no, stop playing.
Yeesh. So, like I said, Claire, you obviously have the Millennium Puzzle.
It is kind of interesting in the lore of Yu-Gi-Oh! Millennium Puzzle allows you to Destiny draw. And, like, the worse you're doing in a duel, the more you can control what you get on top. So, yeah, playing Exodia, you can just wield Exodia. But also, really interesting in Yu-Gi-Oh! Lore, in, like, episode 1, maybe 2, I think, like, episode 2, Yugi tells Joey, you can't ever win a game if you only play monster cards. However, in the Duelist Kingdom arc, if you watch the original Japanese, you get the actual rules. And among the rules are, you are not allowed to attack your opponent directly, and if a player ends their turn and they haven't played a monster, and / they don't have a monster on the field, they lose. So if you had either just, like, a 60 card or whatever maximum size card deck of only monster cards, considering in the anime they didn't play stuff like Fissure or anything, just keep playing your monsters in face down defense position, and eventually you win. Or play an Exodia deck. Because Exodia deck, with all the rest of your cards being monster cards, or, you know, part of Greed's, maybe Graceful Charities, maybe. Probably not. Whatever. And then eventually, you'll win! But yeah. Honestly, I should have just taken that Exodia deck and, like, brought it all the way to, what's the term? Yeah, I should have just brought it to the next tournament and just played that and just like, alright. You sure this deck is properly shuffled? Everything is good? You good with this? Cool. Let's see what I get. I actually did play that deck in tournaments a few times. I never, you know, turned 0 Exodia, but I did win with Exodia a few times. But yeah, right. Stupid bloody luck that I cannot actually prove to anybody. I maximized my luck. Oh, that's just a bad joke. I maximized my luck stat, so why am I trans? Anyway, as I was saying, different words. Lost my train. Wait. So I've said it before. So whenever Oh.
You go ahead.
Oh.
Go ahead.
So whenever someone tries to make some sort of argument of, so-and-so person makes claim this thing, like, legitimately happened, people around the world say that's so unlikely they must have cheated. I just think, like, must they have? Like, is it really mandatory that they had to have cheated? After getting 1 in, 1 trillion odds, or whatever the actual odds were, uh, of, triple turn zero Exodia, like, what, 3 years ago or something by now, popular YouTuber Dream was accused of cheating on Minecraft speedruns because he had managed to get odds that were, wait for it, approximately 1 in 1 trillion. And people were saying that those odds were so impossibly unlikely that if people had been doing Minecraft speed, if the entire population of the planet as it currently stands had been doing Minecraft speedruns since the dawn of planet Earth and proceeded to the heat death of the universe, they would not have been able to do it. Or odds are that that would never have happened. For just 1 in a trillion odds. Turns out he was cheating, but whatevs. As you were saying?
Well, on a somewhat related note, I wouldn't so much say that I'm cheating at the moment, so much as I'm using a, intended mechanic in a way that basically generates me infinite money.
So a glitch.
Here's the thing, it's not really a glitch.
An exploit, I think. Glitch and exploit are different, but I can't remember the specifics of each one. I think that would be an exploit.
Yeah, exploit I think would be the accurate term here.
Because I know one of them is using intended mechanics in an unintended way, and the other one is something that is not intended. And I don't remember the full explanation. Doing intended actions and getting an unintended result or something.
Yeah. Well, basically, apparently, if you, through the use of skills and equipment and the right kind of potions, in the Baldur's Gate games, at least 1 and 2, at the very least in 2, because I don't know if it's actually possible to get it high enough in number 1, but if your skill is high enough, you will always succeed from stealing from a shop.
Okay.
And there are a few shops that will buy stolen goods.
Oh, so you just keep stealing the goods from them and selling it back.
Exactly. So it's an intentional mechanic in the game.
Yeah.
Just exploited.
Yeah.
Mercilessly.
Yeah. Definitely more of an exploit, if anything.
I will point out that the game kind of... Well... The issue I'm realizing now is this might actually mess some things up for me.
Oh?
If I do it like this.
Morning.
Basically, pretty much near the start of the game, you're told, okay, you need to get 20,000...
Oh, shoot. It froze again. Yeah, no, I don't hear either. Just have to wait for my computer to decide to... Hi, Azura, there was a cut again. I heard 20,000.
Yeah, you have to get 20,000 gold to get some information.
Aight.
Now, you're intended to, just do a bunch of questing and stuff. To get your gold, get experience, recruit party members, blah blah blah. Problem is, I've now gotten myself up to 127,000 gold. So I think I've reached the requirement for that. The problem is, I don't know what, if anything, gets cut off if I actually get the money too soon.
Oh yeah, that's sometimes an issue.
Because it's just like, there's stuff I obviously want to buy, because there's some shops that you can't steal from.
of course.
Hello. Good afternoon.
So here's what's weird is that in one particular building, there are 3 merchants in it.
What?
You can steal from one of them, but not the other 2 for some reason.
That's weird.
Yeah. Although, thinking about it, I think the reason you can steal from the one is because technically they're selling illegal goods. So, I don't know.
Why would that make... Wait, if they're selling illegal goods, wouldn't they be more, strict
Well,
about their own security?
Well, here's what it is that there's actually a city guard looking at, like, the first merchant. The second merchant apparently was, like, an extra one added through, like, a DLC or something, but because of what I've got, they're absolutely included. So they kind of just have whatever their circumstances. But the other one is hiding away in the back.
Holy hala. Shamilala.
Wait, was she an option for location?
Yeah, we can ask where she is.
What? Why would you need to... That's weird.
I clicked on that. I was meaning to find Rosalind.
Holy hala. Shamilala.
Alverna East End, okay. What's her password? Just not even noticed. Oh, right. Alright. Well, that was nice.
So, now that I've done this, I think I'm gonna undo it
Cool.
and just reload back to before I did this, because, I think
Yeah.
I don't want to do that until I'm ready to.
Speaking of your infinite money exploit, that actually reminds me of a thing about games. Games that have, say, like a money system can generally be broken up into one of 2 categories. Either infinite money ruins the game, or infinite money does not change the gameplay experience. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I think it doesn't particularly change the experience in this one. I mean, it doesn't ruin the game, but it just... Because here's the thing, most of all the best equipment, you don't get until much later in the game anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember one particular game. Yeah, I mean, there were a few particular games, but I remember one in particular
Good afternoon.
where I learned that fairly early on, you could basically do an exploit of like buy some item at the shop, craft it into something that costs more, then resell it and get infinite money. But the shop also has like, I think it had like auto revives or something like that, where like you could just buy 99 of them. They're stupid expensive, but with infinite money you don't care. Just buy a ton of auto revives, then and also buy some for the early game pretty darn powerful weapons. Like your starting weapon deals 1 damage, you can buy a weapon that does like 4,500. So you can one-shot every enemy, and if any enemy does kill you, boom, you're back on your feet and everything is fine. And then every time you, leave the dungeon to get back, you can just buy more auto revives. It makes the game go from like an alright, decent, like an okay challenge to easy mode instantly. And it completely ruined my enjoyment of the game between that and finding a late game spoiler when I was trying to look up something.
Yeah, that always sucks.
Yeah, like one of the achievements of the game is like I wouldn't have expected you are my father. Like have main character learn that important NPC is actually their father all along.
Wow.
And it's like, huh. It's like, actually, I wanted to... It's like, I was looking at the achievements because I wanted to find, like, there's an achievement for, like, doing the first dungeon. Like, you can only get it, like, the first time you're in the first dungeon, so I wanted the details so I wouldn't miss it. There's something like that, I think, like, an achievement I could have gone really early on, but could have easily missed. And then I scrolled down too far and I found that. It's like, oh. Well, then. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I should have seen that already. But, well then.
Yeah, that sucks. Alright, now, thing to keep in mind, me, don't steal stuff this time, because I don't have the, I didn't actually use the potion stuff that lets me, yeah, that lets me steal without worry.
Alright. Also, one of the Rune Factory games, also you can get infinite money on day 1. And, yeah, you want to guess? It's Tides of Destiny. The Rune Factory game that I keep saying absolutely sucks. Well, there's another reason why it sucks. Considering that most things in the game are locked out because of money, getting infinite money essentially means you could do everything on day 1, quote unquote, like within like the first couple of weeks. Because it's one of the earlier Rune Factory games, more or less. So, whenever you go into a building, time is stopped. You can go into the diner. I'm trying to remember it while also, like, running. You can, like, go into the diner, buy some milk, go into the attached kitchen, turn the milk into ice cream, sell it for a profit. Like, it takes a while. Well, that's not a good lesson to teach the kids. Wait, you can enchant stuff in this game. Natalie's scalpel has enchantments on it. It's canon. We can have enchantments on things. Alright, so with all of that in mind already... Gosh, I can't believe we're already almost at the end of the episode. It feels like we just started. Mostly because I did a rant... Yeah, I did a rant for about half of it and gloated for the second half, so now we're in the third half. I'm joking. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe someone will say that it's quote-unquote literally impossible that I was able to play through all of Aeon's End Legacy by myself in 7 hours. What do you think? Do you think that would be possible? It's like, what was it, 7 chapters? An hour per chapter?
Well, it's 8 chapters.
Oh. I thought it was 7. I know it was one sitting. I know I played through it all in one sitting. I thought it was 7 hours.
No? Well, maybe you took 7 hours, but it is
Maybe I
8
did.
chapters.
I will say, though, playing the game in solo mode, it has a much different meta than playing it with allies, and playing it with a different number of teammates is altogether a different meta.
Interesting.
Because like that, each of your allies draws 2 cards ability. Oh no, spoilers, whatever. Playing in 2-player mode, that means if I got it and used it, you would draw 2. And no matter how many allies I have, 1, 2, or 3, nothing happens for me, but if I have like 3 allies at least, you know, that's plus 6 cards for the team. Whereas playing it solo, activate the ability, you immediately draw 2 cards. If somehow, you could get all the charges you need to activate the ability again, you could draw 2 more cards. Although, from what I was able to find, with all of the cards in Aeon's End Legacy and all of the stickers available and everything else, at least in a solo game, it is not possible to go infinite. It is possible to deal, like, hundreds of damage in one turn with the proper setup, but you can't actually go infinite. Which is nice. This is always a bit of annoyance in games when someone could just go like, yeah, the actual meta is just to get like these 3 cards, because then you play them all and you just like deal infinite damage, and that's the only thing that you do for every single boss. It's like, I like being able to do different things against different bosses. Like, hey, against this boss, we have to kill it really fast, because if too much time elapses, something really bad will happen. But for, like, this boss, it's completely fine. It's like, but for this boss, we have to take our time, because, if we beat it within the first X amount of turns or time, whatever, then it has, like, extra life, or whatever. So we actually have to go slow. Alright. Here's a nice question to end things off on, Azura. Out of the entirety of, let's just say, gaming in general, what is the most memorable boss that you've ever fought in a game?
Memorable boss?
Boss, B-O-S-S.
Oh, boss.
memorable, not necessarily the most awesome, but the one that you remember the most. The one that really stands out.
I mean, the one that I can think of is one that we've seen in a Let's Play that we've done together.
Oh, which one?
You know, the one that sings.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So, of course, that isn't so much a traditional boss, really. I mean, if you really think about it, it's more of just an action puzzle.
True, not even
Because
that
it's
much
all
of a
about
puzzle.
timing. It's more all about timing with sort of bits of musical cutscenes.
True. I think that that still technically qualifies as a boss fight.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does. I'm just saying that if we want to not count it for different reasons, I mean,
Sure, if we wanted to say boss that you actually have to, like, fight or something,
yeah.
what would you say then as, like, your backup?
I'll have to think on that. Let's see, what would be... I hate that there's one that comes to mind that I don't know if it's really so much memorable as it is just I remember it. There was this weird first-person shooter I played when I was young. Actually, I got it around the same time that I got Baldur's Gate 2. Except it had a very much religious theme to it. It was called Catechumen, and the weapons in the game were swords and staves.
Sure.
But they shot energy beams, and one of them shoots an energy ball. And well, the final boss of the game is Satan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just straight up.
Yep.
But honestly, thinking that, it honestly made me think more of, honestly, back in the original Doom, the Cyber Demon. That is a memorable boss.
Cool.
Do you know what that one is?
No, I've never played any of the Doom games.
See, the thing about that one is... I remember, like, I used to watch my dad play Doom a bunch back when I was young, and eventually, of course, I started playing myself. In the level where, like, the final level, I think, of the second episode, whatever, that is, it's the final level of that. You start off in a little central building thing, and you can, you know, there's a few doors to open up, and you can, you know, get some ammo pickups and armor and health. And the rest of the area is just a big outer ring. Because this giant boss basically just stalks around and shoots rockets at you. And the way my dad described it at the time is, if you're firing your rocket launcher, it takes about 20 rockets to kill him.
It needs one to kill you.
Yes.
Gosh.
I think you can technically survive one, maybe two shots if you're at, like, full, like, as high a health and high in armor as you can possibly have at that point. But it is very memorable.
Sure, sounds memorable.
Especially if you also know some part of the backstory, like behind-the-scenes stuff about pretty much everything id Software did. Basically, like, pretty much everything that they made is technically all in the same universe. So Doom takes place in the Wolfenstein universe, as does Commander Keen. Three very interesting combinations, because the main character in the Wolfenstein games, VJ Blazkowicz, is supposed to be the grandfather of Haley Blaze, i.e. Commander Keen, who himself is, I believe, supposed to be the grandfather of Doom Guy.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm bringing this up is that in one of the Wolfenstein games, apparently there's this one, like, big, strong, enemy that you end up fighting. And I guess, like, what happens is that one has their one arm and one or both legs, like, basically destroyed. You know what the Cyber Demon is?
A demon with
a rocket launcher, basically as a cybernetic, attachment onto one arm, because that arm is gone, and again, one or two robot legs. I don't remember if it's supposed to be both legs or one leg. But, yeah. The implication is that that's supposed to be the same enemy, but, a few generations later, having been in hell and upgraded.
Gosh.
And, what I find interesting is that boss, like the Cyber Demon, is, to me, for me, like, the most memorable, like, actual boss fight of the Doom games. More so than the Spider Demon, Cyber Spider, whatever, Spider Brain, whatever it is. That is the final boss of the game. Because, honestly, by that point, you probably have the BFG, and it's pretty easy to fight that particular boss. But the Cyber Demon, at that point, you probably have, like, the plasma gun and, like, everything else below it, but not the BFG. So you don't have the best weapon in the game for this boss. And as we mentioned before, if you're using the rockets, which I think actually, like, per shot, like, are the most damaging weapon that you have at that point, it takes 20 shots to kill him. And here's the thing, I think that changes based on difficulty you're playing at.
Probably would. That is one of those types of things that would change via difficulty.
Yeah. So, yeah. That's certainly fun.
So anyway, when it comes to most memorable boss fights for me, honorable mention have to go to the final boss fight of Rune Factory 4, the Ray Brandt whatever guy, especially because while I was fighting with just a watering can, that was quite the endurance challenge. Basically, if he hit me once, I was dead. But he can't heal. And of course, to the mermaid. Trying to beat that mermaid in Rune Factory 1 with just a watering can. Because 4-hour fight attempt against an enemy, you can only do prick damage and that thing can heal. However, the first one that came to my mind, and thus the winner of the most memorable boss fight in any game that I'd ever played, was the Mysterio boss fight in Spider-Man 2. Because all you have to do is punch him one time and knock out 5 bars of his health and he immediately dies.